In the year 1380, on the outskirts of the ancient city of Oyo, destiny began to unfold quietly. Before the sun had fully risen, 100 riders departed Owu in disciplined silence. They rode not as raiders announcing conquest, but as shadows moving with intent. Their mission was secrecy. Their purpose was war. For 7 long hours, they pressed forward through a forest older than any kingdom that now claimed it. The wind was gentle, almost forgiving, brushing against faces hardened by years of conflict and ambition. At their head rode Balogun Ogidi, warlord of Owu, a man shaped by battle and obedience to power. He did not need maps to know where he was going. He felt the nearness of Oyo in his bones. This was no ordinary march. The riders advanced in stealth, avoiding villages and open paths, preparing to strike Oyo before word of their movement could spread. What they carried was not merely weapons, but the weight of political design. Owu sought to weaken Oyo, to test its defenses, and to exploit fractures already forming within the kingdom. This forest was not just cover, it was an accomplice. The earth trembled beneath the hooves of Arabian horses, bred for endurance and war. Dust followed the riders like a living veil. Ancient trees stood as witnesses, their towering limbs swaying as if they remembered other armies, other betrayals, other blood. Beneath the thick canopy, charms and amulets glimmered faintly, lending the riders an almost spectral presence, as though the forest itself had accepted them. Yet, while war advanced with patience and discipline, elsewhere in that same forest, flight unfolded in panic. Since dawn, 2 slaves had been running. Akintunde and Omowumi fled through dense undergrowth, driven by fear and hope in unequal measure. They ran because remaining meant bondage, and bondage meant slow erasure. They ran because they believed freedom lay beyond the forest, beyond Bogu, beyond the great river that separated Oyo lands from the Fulani. Akintunde was the first to believe. He was a middle-aged man, simple in thought and generous in spirit. Love was his guiding truth. He believed love could soften cruelty, that devotion could redeem even the harshest life. He loved Omowumi without question, without suspicion, and without reserve. When she spoke of escape, of starting anew in another kingdom, he followed without hesitation. Love made him brave. Love made him blind. Omowumi was different. She had been born into slavery in the compound of the Ajele, a powerful man whose authority extended unchecked over those beneath him. From childhood, Omowumi watched her mother, Omotade, suffer under relentless cruelty. Her beauty became a curse. Her body became property. Repeated violations shattered her mind until she no longer recognized the world or her own child. Omowumi was 7 years old when her mother's mind broke. She never forgot the faces of the men responsible. She never forgot the silence that followed, and she never forgot the vow she made to herself. As she grew, Omowumi learned to wait. She learned to observe. Her beauty and intelligence set her apart, but more importantly, her pain sharpened her purpose. She understood early that survival alone was not enough. Justice, however delayed, was necessary. When she was chosen to serve the Oyo Messi, the powerful council that restrained the king himself, her life changed. Bashirun, their leader, saw beyond her obedience. He saw ambition disciplined by suffering. The Ifa oracle had spoken of salvation from an unlikely source, and Bashirun believed Omowumi was that vessel. She was recruited in secrecy, bound by oath, initiated into hidden knowledge, tasked to serve not herself, but the balance of the kingdom. From that day forward, Omowumi lived a double life. Slave by appearance, instrument by design. Akintunde knew none of this. To him, Omowumi was simply the woman he loved. When she convinced him to flee with her, he believed it was for freedom, for love, for a life unburdened by chains. He never imagined he was being led not away from danger, but directly into judgment. By midday, the forest changed. Akintunde heard it first. A distant rhythm, a vibration carried through soil and air. Hooves. Omowumi listened. She recognized the sound immediately. This was not a patrol. This was a war party. They hid together beneath thick bushes, hearts racing. Akintunde clung to hope, whispering prayers of passage and mercy. Omowumi calculated. The moment she had prepared for had arrived sooner than expected. As the horsemen drew closer, Omowumi felt her heart beating faster and tears welling up in her eyes. She leaned into Akintunde's embrace, seeking comfort from him. He remembered how she used to sing to him about their love when they were both still living in the Ajele's compound. Grateful for her affection, despite his simple background as a loyal servant, he had followed her when she convinced him to run away and start a new life together. But now, with the approaching war party in full view, all hope seemed lost. The riders were clearly not passing through by chance. They were moving in battle formation. And then she chose. She stepped out from concealment and cried aloud. Her voice carried fear, desperation, and accusation. She told the riders she had been taken by force, dragged into the forest against her will. She pointed back toward Akintunde. Balogun Ogidi listened. He believed her. Orders were given. The forest erupted into motion. Akintunde ran. Terror lent him speed, but not salvation. Branches tore at his skin. Breath burned his lungs. Behind him, the sound of pursuit closed in. He stumbled. He fell where leaves and silence gathered. His heart felt as though it might burst as he forced himself forward, feet slamming the forest floor, branches scratching at his face and arms. The pounding of footsteps and the hiss of projectiles cutting through the air drove him on, even as he sensed them closing the distance. Pain seized him. He fought through it on raw fear alone. Then his strength failed. He collapsed, gasping, the world narrowing to the ache in his chest, and the thought of Omowumi's stormy eyes, once so tender in their stolen moments. His final thoughts were not of betrayal, but of love. Omowumi watched from a distance. She felt no triumph, untouched by sorrow, only a cold fulfillment. One debt had been answered. Others remained. Justice had demanded a price, and she had paid it with a man who loved her. As the riders resumed their march toward Oyo, continuing their silent advance toward war, the forest reclaimed its stillness, but balance had shifted. Somewhere in the ether, thunder waited. For the age of Shango does not begin with victory. It begins with betrayal, with seeds planted in silence, pain, and consequence. And from the east, the drums of